The truth is, your mind has the power to shape your life. But if you don't take control of it, it will shape you in ways you never intended. Every single thought you have is a choice. And if you don't make that choice consciously, your mind will make it for you. It's time to take back control. Because the life you want is on the other side of mastering your mind. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop being a passive passenger in your own life and start becoming the driver. If you've ever found yourself stuck in negative thought patterns, overwhelmed by stress, or just feeling like you're not in control, you're not alone. We've all been there. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to stay that way. Your thoughts don't have to run wild, and you don't have to be a slave to them anymore. I'm going to teach you exactly how to break free from the cycle of self-doubt, fear, and overthinking. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about taking full control over your mind and setting yourself up for success. Every moment, every choice is a chance to shift your thinking and create the life you want. So stay with me. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to retrain your mind to work for you, not against you. You have the power to change your reality, and it starts right now. This is your chance to finally take control. Let's dive in. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. I want you to take it seriously, because this right here, this is the difference between a life of power and a life of regret. If you don't take charge of your mind, it will take charge of you. And let me tell you, when your mind is running wild, it doesn't take you anywhere good. It keeps you stuck. It fills you with doubt. It makes you hesitate when you should act, quit when you should keep going, and settle for less when you were meant for more. The battle of life isn't won out there. It's won in your mind. And if you don't realize that, then life is going to be a whole lot harder than it needs to be. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. And the truth is, most people let it become the enemy without even realizing it. You see, your mind is designed to protect you. It wants to keep you safe, keep you comfortable, keep you from taking risks or stepping into the unknown. That's why so many people stay stuck in the same routines, the same jobs, the same mindset for years, because their mind has convinced them that change is dangerous, that failure is something to fear, that stepping outside of the familiar will lead to disaster. But here's the problem. Comfort doesn't lead to success. Playing it safe doesn't lead to growth. And if your mind is controlling you instead of the other way around, then you're going to live the same year over and over again, wondering why nothing is changing. So what do? How do you turn your mind from your worst enemy into your greatest weapon? It starts with awareness. Most people don't even realize the thoughts that are running through their head every single day. They don't realize that the reason they feel stuck, unmotivated, or lost isn't because of their circumstances. It's because of the way they think. If you're constantly feeding your mind negative thoughts, if you're always telling yourself you're not good enough, if you're always expecting the worst, then guess what? That's exactly what you're going to experience. Your mind is like a garden, and whatever you plant in it is going to grow. If you plant doubt, fear, and excuses, that's what you'll harvest. But if you plant confidence, discipline, and belief, then your life will start to change in ways you never thought possible. And let me tell you something. This is not easy. It takes effort. It takes discipline. It takes catching yourself every time your mind starts feeding you negativity and saying, no, I'm not accepting that. I decide what I believe. I decide what I focus on. I decide where my life is going. And if you can do that, if you can start to control your thoughts instead of letting them control you, then everything changes. Most people don't even realize how much power they're giving away to their mind. They let fear stop them from taking action. They let doubt convince them they're not capable. They let past failures define their future. But let me ask you this. Who told you that you couldn't do it? Who told you that you weren't good enough? Who told you that your past equals your future? Because it wasn't the truth. It was just your mind running wild, keeping you small, keeping you from stepping into the person you were meant to become. And if you let those thoughts continue, if you let your mind run the show, then you will never see what you're truly capable of. You have to take control. You have to reprogram the way you think. And that starts with changing what you focus on. If you're always looking at what's wrong, you'll never see what's possible. If you're always focusing on the reasons why you can't, you'll never find the reasons why you can. And this isn't about ignoring reality. This is about taking charge of it. Because the truth is, your reality is shaped by your thoughts. Your beliefs determine your actions, and your actions determine your results. Think about the most successful people you know. Do you think they got there by letting fear control them? by listening to every doubt that popped into their head, by staying in their comfort zone. No, they got there because they mastered their mind. They trained themselves to think differently. They refused to let fear or self-doubt make decisions for them. And if they can do it, so can you. But it starts with making a decision that from this moment forward, you are in control, that your mind will no longer run your life on autopilot, that when a negative thought comes in, you will challenge it, that when fear tries to stop you, you will push through it, that when your mind tells you to quit, you will remind yourself why you started. Because if you don't control your mind, it will control you. And when that happens, you don't live life, you survive it. And let me tell you something. You were meant for more than just surviving. You were meant to grow, to evolve, to create, to build, to become someone you're proud of. But that will never happen if you let your mind keep you small. It's time to fight back. It's time to take ownership of your thoughts. It's time to turn your mind into your greatest weapon and build the life you know you're capable of living. So don't wait. Don't let another day go by where your mind controls you. Starting today, you take control. You decide what thoughts stay and what thoughts go. You decide how you react, how you focus, and how you move forward. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. And the only person who gets to decide how it turns out is you. If you don't program your mind, someone else will. If you don't take control of your mind, someone else will. That's not a possibility. It's a guarantee. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, something is trying to shape your thoughts. Social media, news, advertisements, the opinions of others. They all work to program the way you think. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day and realize that your thoughts, your beliefs, your decisions, they were never really yours. They were handed to you, fed to you, forced into your mind by the world around you. And that's dangerous, because the moment you stop thinking for yourself is the moment you lose control over your life. Look around. Most people aren't living the life they want. They're living the life they were programmed to accept. They follow the same routines, think the same thoughts, and make the same choices every single day. Not because they decided that was the best path, but because it's what society, their family, or their environment told them was normal. They settle for jobs they don't like, relationships that drain them, habits that destroy them, all because they never stopped to ask, is this what I actually want? Or is this just what I was taught to accept? That's what happens when you don't program your own mind. Someone else does it for you. And here's the thing, you don't even realize it's happening. It starts small. You see an ad for a product, and suddenly you feel like you need it. You hear a negative opinion from someone, and before you know it, you're doubting yourself. You scroll through social media, comparing your life to others, and now you feel like you're behind, like you're not good enough, like you're failing. Little by little, the world shapes the way you think, the way you see yourself, the way you see success, happiness, and even your own potential. And unless you take control, unless you start filtering what you allow into your mind, you will spend your entire life being controlled by things that don't actually matter. That's why you have to make a choice to stop letting the world think for you, a choice to stop blindly accepting every belief, every thought, every piece of information that's thrown at you, a choice to take back control of your mind and decide for yourself what you believe, what you value, what direction you want your life to go. Because if you don't, then your thoughts, your actions, and your future will be dictated by people who don't care about your success. And let me tell you something. Most of the world doesn't want you to be successful. They want you to be average. They want you to fit in. They want you to buy what they sell, believe what they tell you, and follow the path that keeps you from questioning anything. But you have to wake up. You have to realize that every thought you accept without question is a seed planted in your mind. Some of those seeds will grow into confidence, discipline, and success. Others will grow into doubt, fear, and mediocrity. And the difference between the people who thrive and the people who struggle isn't luck. It's what they allow to take root in their mind. Successful people don't just let any thought stay in their head. They guard their mind like it's the most valuable thing they own, because it is. They choose what they focus on. They decide what ideas they allow to shape their beliefs. They don't let the world program them. they program themselves. And that's what you need to start doing. Stop mindlessly consuming information that doesn't serve you. Stop listening to people who have no idea where they're going in life. Stop letting fear-based headlines and social media posts tell you how to feel. Start thinking for yourself. Start questioning everything. Start asking, does this belief help me or hurt me? Does this thought move me forward or hold me back? Because once you start doing that, once you take control of what you allow into your mind, everything changes. You start seeing the world differently. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop letting other people's opinions dictate your self-worth. You stop following the crowd just because it feels safe. And most importantly, you start living a life that's actually yours, not one that was handed to you. Because let's be honest, most people are just repeating what they've been told. They believe certain things about money, success, happiness, relationships, not because they've thought deeply about them, but because that's what they were taught. They never questioned if it was true. They never looked for proof. They just accepted it. And that's why so many people feel stuck, because they're living under a set of beliefs that were never really theirs to begin with. But you don't have to live that way. You can reprogram your mind. You can decide right now that you will no longer accept every thought that enters your head as truth. You will challenge it. You will ask, where did this come from? Who told me this? And do I actually believe it? Because when you do that, you take back your power. You stop living on autopilot. You start creating the life you actually want, instead of the one the world tried to convince you was the only option. This is what separates people who live with purpose from people who just exist. People who take control of their mind, take control of their life. They don't let distractions, negativity, or other people's expectations run their world. They decide what matters. They decide what they focus on. And because of that, they succeed in ways most people never will. So the question is, are you going to let someone else program your mind? Or are you going to take back control? Because one way or another, your mind is being programmed every single day. The only difference is whether it's happening by accident or by choice. And if you're not making the choice, then I guarantee someone else is making it for you. Your thoughts control your emotions. Fix the root, not the symptoms. Your mind is the starting point for everything. The way you think determines the way you feel, and the way you feel determines the way you act. That's why so many people feel trapped in cycles they don't understand. They try to change their habits, they try to fix their emotions, but they never address the root of the problem, their thoughts. You don't fix a broken tree by trimming the branches. You fix it by getting to the roots. And the same goes for your mind. If your emotions are out of control, if you feel stuck in negativity, if you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, you need to stop looking at the symptoms and start addressing the cause. Because when you change the way you think, you change everything. Most people go through life completely unaware of how much their thoughts dictate their emotions. They wake up in a bad mood, and instead of questioning it, they accept it. They feel anxious or angry, and assume it's just how life is. But here's the truth. Those emotions didn't just appear out of nowhere. They started with a thought. And if you don't take control of that thought, if you don't catch it, challenge it, and change it, then it controls you. That's why people stay stuck in fear, in self-doubt, in anger, in frustration, because they never stop to question the thoughts that created those emotions in the first place. Think about how this plays out in real life. Someone criticizes you, and immediately you feel angry or hurt. But the criticism itself isn't what caused your reaction. It was the thought you had about it. Maybe you thought, they don't respect me. Or maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. That thought triggered the emotion, and now you're feeling upset, defensive, or insecure. But if in that moment, you had stopped and challenged that thought, the entire emotional reaction could have been different. What if instead of immediately believing the worst, you asked yourself, is this true? Does this even matter? Do I need to take this personally? Suddenly the emotion loses its grip on you because you took control of the thought before it could spiral out of control. This applies to every area of life. Fear starts with a thought. Self-doubt starts with a thought. Even motivation, or the lack of it, starts with a thought. If you wake up and tell yourself, "I'm too tired," or "This isn't worth it," how do you think you're going to feel? Drained, unmotivated, stuck. But if you wake up and immediately take control of that thought, if you say, "No, I decide how today goes," everything changes. Your energy shifts, your emotions shift, and suddenly you're in control, instead of your mind running the show on autopilot. And let me tell you, autopilot is dangerous. Most people live their entire lives reacting instead of deciding. Something happens, they react. Someone says something, they react. They feel an emotion, they assume it's the truth. But that's not control. That's just being pulled around by whatever thoughts happen to show up. And if you don't train your mind, if you don't actively take control of what thoughts you allow to stay, then your emotions will control you. Your actions will control you, and your life will be a constant battle of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and out of control. But you don't have to live like that. You can train your mind. You can decide right now that you will no longer accept every thought that pops into your head as truth. You will challenge it. You will question it. You will ask yourself, does this thought serve me? Does this thought move me forward or hold me back? And if it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't make you stronger, then you replace it with one that does. This is what separates people who win in life from people who stay stuck. The ones who win have mastered their mind. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They don't let a bad morning turn into a bad day, a bad week, or a bad life. They catch the thought before it turns into something bigger. And that's what you need to start doing. Every single time you feel an emotion that isn't serving you, stop and trace it back to the thought that caused it. Because once you see the pattern, once you realize that your emotions are not random, that they are created by the thoughts you allow into your mind, you gain power. And let me be clear, this doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It doesn't mean pretending you're happy when you're not. It means understanding that your emotions are messages. They're signals telling you what's going on in your mind. And when you learn to listen, when you learn to take control of the thoughts creating those emotions, you become unstoppable. You stop letting fear hold you back. You stop letting self-doubt dictate your choices. You stop letting other people's words control your mood. You start living on your terms. This is the work most people never do. They spend their entire lives trying to fix the surface, trying to change their actions, trying to force motivation, without ever realizing that the real battle is in the mind. But once you understand this, once you start working at the root level, your life transforms. You stop fighting against yourself. You stop feeling trapped by your emotions. And instead you start directing them. You start creating emotions that serve you, that push you forward, that give you the energy, the focus, and the drive to build the life you actually want. So from this moment forward, make the decision. No more letting negative thoughts run unchecked. No more letting emotions dictate your actions without question. No more being controlled by a mind that's running on autopilot. You take control. You choose your thoughts. You decide how you feel. And when you do that, everything, your mood, your actions, your results, everything starts to change. Because the moment you take control of your thoughts is the moment you take control of your life. Discipline your thinking or drown in overthinking. Most people are drowning in their own thoughts. They overthink everything, analyze every detail, and let their mind run in circles until they feel exhausted, anxious, and stuck. And here's the harsh truth. If you don't discipline your thinking, it will consume you. It will pull you into endless worry, self-doubt, and hesitation. It will keep you trapped in a cycle of stress and indecision, making you feel like you're constantly moving, but never actually going anywhere. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think it's normal. They assume that's just how life is. Always second guessing, always fearing the worst, always playing out 100 different scenarios in their head, most of which never even happen. But let me tell you, that is not normal. That is not how you're supposed to live. That is a mind that has never been trained, a mind that has been left on autopilot. And if you don't take control of it, it will run you into the ground. The problem with overthinking is that it feels productive. You think if you just analyze things enough, you'll find the perfect solution. But that's the trap. Overthinking doesn't lead to solutions. it leads to confusion. It leads to hesitation. It leads to missed opportunities. Because you spend so much time thinking that you never actually take action. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it is to break free. Your mind starts feeding you even more reasons to wait, to hesitate, to be afraid. Before you know it, you've spent years stuck in the same spot, not because you couldn't move forward, but because you let your thoughts convince you that you weren't ready. If you want to change your life, if you want to achieve something, if you want peace of mind, you have to get ruthless with your thinking. You have to stop allowing your mind to dictate your actions without your permission. You have to recognize that not every thought is true, not every fear is valid, and not every hesitation is justified. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not to make you successful. It will always choose comfort over growth, safety over risk, certainty over opportunity. That's why so many people stay stuck, because their mind is working against them instead of for them. And until you take control of that, you will never break free from overthinking. You've got to start questioning your own thoughts. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it deserves your attention. It doesn't mean it's accurate. It doesn't mean it's useful. Most thoughts are just noise, random bits of fear, doubt, and old conditioning that have been running in the background for years. And if you don't stop and challenge them, they will control you. So every time you catch yourself overthinking, every time you feel yourself getting stuck in hesitation, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is this thought pushing me forward or holding me back? And if it's not helping, if it's not making you stronger, then you get rid of it. You shift your focus. You take action despite the uncertainty. Because action is the only thing that will break the cycle of overthinking. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to feel ready before they can move forward. But here's what you need to understand. Certainty comes from action, not from thinking. You don't wait until you feel confident to start. You start to build confidence. You don't wait for the perfect plan. You take the first step and adjust along the way. The more you act, the less time your mind has to talk you out of it. The more you act, the more evidence you create that you are capable, that you are in control, that you are not a slave to your own thoughts. And let me tell you, this applies to everything in life. You want to start a business, stop overthinking, and start taking steps. You want to improve your health, stop researching every diet, and just start making better choices. You want to build confidence, stop waiting to feel confident, and start doing things that scare you. Every time you hesitate, every time you let your mind talk you out of something, you are strengthening the habit of overthinking. And the only way to break that habit is to act before your mind has a chance to stop you. Most people have trained their minds to work against them instead of for them. They've spent years reinforcing the habit of hesitation, of fear, of self-doubt. And if that's you, then it's time to retrain your brain. It's time to take control of your thinking, to stop letting it dictate your life, to stop letting it paralyze you. You have to become the master of your mind, not the other way around. Because once you do that, once you stop drowning in your own thoughts and start directing them, everything changes. You start moving forward. You start making decisions with confidence. You start trusting yourself. And that's when real progress happens. Not when you think about it, not when you analyze it, but when you take action in spite of the uncertainty. That's how you build momentum. That's how you break free from overthinking. That's how you create the life you actually want. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop letting your mind run in circles. Take control. Take action. And watch how everything in your life starts to change. Negative thinking is not just a habit, it's an addiction. Most people don't realize how dangerous negative thinking really is. They assume it's just a habit, something that happens from time to time. But let me tell you the truth. Negative thinking is not just a habit, it's an addiction. And like any addiction, it will take over your life if you don't break free from it. It will drain your energy, steal your confidence, and trap you in a cycle of fear, doubt, and hesitation. It will make you see problems where none exist. It will convince you that nothing will ever work out, that you are not good enough, that the world is against you. And if you don't put a stop to it, it will control every decision you make, every opportunity you let pass, and every dream you abandon before you even try. The problem with negative thinking is that it feels real. When you tell yourself you're not capable, when you assume things will go wrong, when you believe you're not good enough, it doesn't feel like a lie. It feels like the truth. And the more you repeat those thoughts, the more they become your reality. Because here's the thing about the human mind. It will always look for evidence to support what you believe. If you believe you're unlucky, your brain will focus on every little thing that goes wrong and ignore all the times things worked in your favor. If you believe you're not smart enough, your brain will remind you of every mistake you've ever made and conveniently forget every success. If you believe life is unfair, your mind will find proof in every struggle, every difficulty, every challenge. Your thoughts shape your reality. And if you let negativity run your mind, you will always find reasons to stay stuck. Negative thinking is sneaky. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in quietly, little by little, until one day you wake up and realize that every thought in your head is working against you. It starts with small things, doubting yourself before a big opportunity, assuming the worst in a situation, expecting failure before you even begin. But over time, those little moments add up. They turn into a mindset, a way of life. Before you know it, you're not just having negative thoughts, you are living them. You are making decisions based on fear instead of possibility. You are holding back instead of stepping forward. You are playing it safe instead of chasing what you really want. And all because you let those negative thoughts run on autopilot. If you want to break free, if you want to take control of your mind before it controls you, you have to treat negative thinking like the addiction that it is. And that means you have to cut it off at the source. You have to stop feeding it. You have to stop entertaining every fearful thought, every limiting belief, every worst-case scenario that plays in your mind. You have to catch yourself in the act and shut it down before it has a chance to take root. Because the longer you let a negative thought sit in your mind, the stronger it becomes. It starts shaping the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, the way you respond to challenges. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they can just ignore their negative thoughts and they'll go away. But that's not how it works. You don't break free from an addiction by ignoring it. You break free by replacing it with something better. You train your mind to think differently. You challenge every negative thought that enters your head and replace it with something stronger. And let me be clear, it's not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing to focus on what will make you better instead of what will hold you back. Every time a negative thought comes into your mind, you have a choice. You can let it control you, or you can take control of it. You can feed it, or you can starve it. And that choice will determine everything in your life. It will determine how you feel, how you act, how you show up in the world. Because at the end of the day, your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. And if you don't take control of it, if you don't actively train it, if you don't discipline it, it will turn against you. Most people wait until their negative thinking has already ruined their confidence, stolen their happiness, and made them miserable before they decide to do something about it. But you don't have to wait until you've lost years of your life to wake up. You can decide right now that you will not be a prisoner of your own mind. You can decide that you will not allow negativity to dictate your future. You can decide that no matter what happens, you will choose thoughts that make you stronger, not weaker. And let me tell you, once you make that decision, everything changes. You start to notice the difference between thoughts that serve you and thoughts that sabotage you. You start to feel lighter, more in control, more powerful. You start taking action instead of hesitating. You start believing in yourself instead of doubting. And that's when your life starts to shift. Not when the circumstances change. Not when you get lucky. But when you finally take control of the one thing that has always been in your power, your mind. So stop letting negative thinking run your life. Stop giving your mind permission to work against you. Stop feeding the addiction. Make the decision today that you will no longer be controlled by your own thoughts. Make the decision today to take back your power. Because once you do, once you stop letting negativity define you, you will finally see what's been possible all along. You will finally become the person you were meant to be. And that, my friends, is when life truly begins. The stories you tell yourself become your reality. Every single day you are telling yourself a story about who you are, what you can do, what you deserve, and what is possible for you. And the truth is, whatever story you keep telling yourself is exactly the life you will live. Because your mind believes whatever you repeat to it. It doesn't question it, it doesn't argue, it simply accepts it. And then it works day and night to make that story your reality. So if you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, that life is unfair, that success is only for other people, guess what? Your mind is going to find ways to prove you right. Your actions will follow your beliefs. Your decisions will match your expectations, and your results will mirror your mindset. Most people never take a second to question the story they've been telling themselves. They think the way they see themselves is just the truth. But it's not the truth. It's a script you've been running for years. And the worst part, most of those stories weren't even written by you. They were written by your past experiences, by your failures, by the opinions of others, by society, by your fears, and by the doubts that have been planted in your mind since childhood. And unless you take control, unless you start rewriting the script, you will live out a story that you never chose. The stories you tell yourself shape everything. They shape how you feel, how you think, how you behave, and what you allow yourself to go after. If you tell yourself you're not smart enough, you'll stop trying to learn. If you tell yourself you're unlucky, you'll stop looking for opportunities. If you tell yourself you're not capable, you won't take action when it matters most. And it's not because those things are true. It's because your mind will always work to make sure you live in alignment with what you believe. Look around at your life right now. Your confidence, your relationships, your career, your habits, your routines, every single part of your life is a reflection of the story you believe about yourself. If you believe you are someone who takes care of themselves, your actions will reflect that. If you believe you are someone who always struggles, you will find ways to prove that belief true. This is why people stay stuck for years, not because they're incapable of change, but because they keep living inside a story that tells them they can't. And let me tell you something. This is not about being positive for the sake of being positive. This is not about ignoring reality. This is about deciding that you will no longer accept a story that keeps you small. This is about choosing a story that pushes you forward, one that helps you become the person you were meant to be. You don't have to lie to yourself, but you do have to be intentional about what you believe. Because the truth is, you are capable, you are strong, you are resourceful. You have the ability to learn, to grow, to overcome. But if your mind has been programmed to tell a different story, you will never tap into that potential. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to what you say to yourself every day. Catch yourself when you start repeating the same old limiting beliefs. Recognize when your thoughts are working against you instead of for you. Because once you become aware, you have the power to change. And changing your story is not about wishful thinking. It's about rewiring your mind through action. Every time you do something that goes against your old story, you weaken it. Every time you prove to yourself that you are capable, you replace that old belief with a new one. You have to stop reinforcing the wrong narrative. Stop saying you're not disciplined when you haven't even given yourself a chance to build the habit. Stop saying you're not lucky when the truth is, you haven't positioned yourself to create opportunities. Stop saying you're not confident when you've never consistently stepped out of your comfort zone long enough to develop it. Your mind will believe what you prove to it. And the only way to change your belief is through action. Start telling yourself a different story. One where you are in control. One where you are strong. One where you are capable of doing hard things. One where your past does not define your future. Because once you start feeding your mind with the right thoughts, once you start reinforcing the right beliefs, you will start to see changes in your actions, in your habits, in your results. And before you know it, you won't just be telling yourself a new story, you will be living it. A mind that focuses on problems stays stuck. Train it to find solutions. Most people don't even realize that their mind is running on autopilot. They go through life reacting, overthinking, stressing about things they can't control, and wondering why they feel stuck. The truth is, your mind is always working. It's either working for you or against you. And if you don't train it to focus on solutions, it will naturally focus on problems. That's the default setting. A mind left unchecked will always find reasons to worry, reasons to doubt, reasons to stay in the same place. But a mind that is trained to look for solutions will always find a way forward. Every challenge you face, every setback, every obstacle, it all comes down to how your mind is programmed to handle it. Some people see problems and freeze. They complain, they blame, they dwell on how unfair life is. But then there are those who see the same problems and immediately start looking for a way to fix them. The difference isn't intelligence. It's not luck. It's the way their mind has been trained. One person has built the habit of focusing on solutions. The other has built the habit of focusing on why things won't work. And whichever habit you've trained is the one that will control your life. Think about how much time is wasted worrying about things that have no solution. People spend days, weeks, even years stuck in the same mental loops, thinking about the past, regretting decisions, replaying mistakes, fearing the worst. But none of that changes anything. None of that moves you forward. The only thing that changes your life is action. And action only happens when your mind is focused on solutions. The moment you shift your thinking from why is this happening to me to what can I do about it, that's when everything starts to change. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about refusing to let them control you. Because the more you dwell on a problem, the bigger it seems. The more you replay your failures, the heavier they feel. And before you know it, you've convinced yourself that there's no way out. But there is always a way out. There is always a way forward. The problem is, most people never train their mind to look for it. You've got to break the habit of dwelling on what you can't change. Instead, start asking yourself better questions. What can I do right now? What's the next step? Who can I learn from? What's one action I can take today? These are the questions that lead to progress. These are the questions that turn obstacles into opportunities. Because the truth is, every single problem has a solution. If you're willing to look for it, your mind will follow whatever direction you give it. If you tell it to focus on why things are hard, it will find proof. If you tell it to focus on what's possible, it will find solutions. And the more you train it to think this way, the more natural it becomes. You'll start seeing opportunities where others see roadblocks. You'll start finding ways to grow where others only see failure. And over time, this mindset shift will change everything about your life. Most people don't fail because they're not smart enough, not talented enough, or not capable enough. They fail because they stay stuck in the problem instead of moving toward the solution. They let fear, doubt, and negativity control their thinking. But the people who succeed, no matter what field, no matter what challenge, they are the ones who train their mind to think differently. They don't waste time complaining. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They put all their energy into what they can control. If you want to change your life, you have to make a decision. A decision to stop letting problems control you. A decision to start focusing on what you can do instead of what you can't. A decision to train your mind to always look for the next step, no matter how difficult things seem. Because at the end of the day, your mind is either a tool that helps you grow or a trap that keeps you stuck. And the choice is yours. Your mind is a battlefield. Win the war. Every day. Every single day, you wake up and step onto a battlefield. And the battle isn't against other people. It's not against your circumstances. It's not even against your past. The real battle is happening inside your mind. From the moment you open your eyes, your thoughts start pouring in. Doubt, fear, worry, temptation, excuses. It all comes rushing in, trying to take control before you even have a chance to fight back. And the truth is, if you don't take command of your mind first thing in the morning, if you don't set the tone, then your mind will run wild, and you'll spend the rest of the day fighting to regain control. That's why so many people feel exhausted before they even start. They let their emotions, distractions, and old habits take over before they've even made a conscious decision about how they want their day to go. Your mind is a battlefield, and you are either winning the war or losing it. And let me tell you, the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. It's mental discipline. It's training yourself to control your thoughts before your thoughts control you. Because the truth is, your thoughts dictate everything. The way you feel, the way you act, the way you see the world, it all starts in your mind. If your mind is programmed to focus on negativity, you will always find a reason to complain. If your mind is wired to dwell on problems, you will always feel stuck. If your mind is trained to make excuses, you will never take action. But if you train your mind to focus on solutions, to push forward, no matter what, to refuse to be controlled by fear, then your life will change. This battle happens every day, and most people don't even realize they're in it. They think their thoughts just happen to them. They assume that if they wake up feeling tired or unmotivated, then that's just the way the day is going to go. But that's not the truth. That's a lie you've been telling yourself for too long. You don't have to accept every thought that enters your mind. You don't have to let your emotions dictate your actions. You have the power to decide what thoughts you give energy to and which ones you ignore. And if you don't take control, then the world will do it for you. The distractions, the negativity, the endless noise, it will take over, and you will wonder why you never feel in control of your own life. You've got to wake up every morning ready to fight for your mind, and that means being intentional. It means not letting yourself scroll mindlessly on your phone the moment you wake up. It means not letting the first thing you see be the news, or social media, or someone else's problems. It means taking the time to decide what kind of day you're going to have before the world decides for you. And that's not easy. Because the moment you try to take control, your mind will fight back. It will try to pull you back into your old patterns. It will tell you to hit snooze. It will remind you of every reason why today is going to be hard. It will try to drag you back into stress, anxiety, and self-doubt before you even put your feet on the floor. But this is where you either win or lose the battle. The strongest people aren't the ones who never have negative thoughts. They're not the ones who never feel tired, or afraid, or discouraged. They are the ones who refuse to let those feelings control their actions. They are the ones who acknowledge their doubts, but don't let them dictate their choices. They are the ones who feel the fear, but keep moving forward anyway. Because the difference between success and failure isn't the absence of struggle, it's the ability to fight through it. Your mind is a battlefield, and the war doesn't end after one victory. It's a fight you have to show up for every single day. And the more you train yourself to win, the stronger you become. The more you practice controlling your thoughts, the easier it gets. Over time, the negative thoughts lose their power. The fear becomes quieter. The doubts don't hold you back the way they used to, because you've built the mental strength to push past them. But none of this happens by accident. It happens because you decide to take control. It happens because you refuse to let your emotions control your day. It happens because you wake up every morning and remind yourself who's in charge, and that's you. Your mind is powerful, but only if you are the one in control. If you let it run wild, it will work against you. But if you train it, if you discipline it, if you make it work for you, then there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Mastering your mind is the fastest way to change your life. It's a necessity if you want to change your life. The way you think, the thoughts you give power to, and the way you interpret the world around you shape your reality. Every single moment, your mind is either working for you or against you. And if you're not in control, if you don't have the mental discipline to direct your thoughts, then you are letting life dictate your results. The good news is that mastering your mind is something you can choose to do right now. It's a decision you make, not some far-off goal that you need to wait years to achieve. Every single day you can decide to take control of your thoughts and transform your life in ways you never imagined. But it requires effort, focus, and a level of commitment that most people are unwilling to give. But if you're willing, if you're ready to take on the challenge, your life can shift dramatically, almost immediately. What most people don't realize is that the mind is not a passive thing. It is a powerful force that can either propel you towards success or drag you down into failure. If you let your mind wander without direction, if you let it run unchecked, it will lead you down a path of uncertainty, confusion, and often self-doubt. The key to controlling your mind is not to try to eliminate all negative thoughts or emotions, because let's be honest, we all have them. The key is to recognize those thoughts, acknowledge them, and then take deliberate action to change the narrative. The more you train yourself to take control, the easier it gets. The more you challenge your thoughts and choose the ones that serve your goals, the more you begin to shift the direction of your life. When you master your mind, you essentially become the architect of your future. No longer do you allow circumstances, other people, or even your past to dictate who you are and where you're going. You take full responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, and your results. And this is the turning point. When you start to realize that you are the one in charge, that your mind is the tool that can either hold you back or launch you forward, everything begins to change. You begin to make decisions from a place of power instead of fear. You choose your thoughts with intention. You stop giving space to the limiting beliefs and doubts that have been holding you back for years. You decide what you focus on. And with every positive thought you nurture, you reinforce the mindset that will lead to your success. But it's not just about choosing positive thoughts. It's about being intentional with your thinking. It's about deciding what to focus on and training your mind to block out distractions that don't serve you. In today's world, there's so much noise, so many distractions pulling you in different directions. Social media, the news, other people's opinions, all these things fight for your attention. And if you're not careful, they will consume you. They will steer your thoughts toward negativity, doubt, and confusion. But when you take control of your mind, when you train yourself to focus on what matters most, you can block out all the noise and keep your attention on your goals. You stop reacting to life, and you start proactively shaping it. Mastering your mind means developing the discipline to focus on your goals, even when things aren't going well. It means learning how to keep your mind calm, even in the face of uncertainty. It means refusing to let fear or doubt dictate your actions. You'll be tested, of course. You'll have moments when it feels like your mind is working against you. You'll have days when you feel defeated, when your thoughts are swirling with negativity, and you just can't shake the feeling that you're not good enough. But this is when the real work happens. This is where the true transformation occurs. It's not in the easy moments that you build mental strength. It's in the hard ones, the ones where you want to quit, where you want to give in. It's in those moments that you decide to push through, to take control of your thoughts and rise above your circumstances. And when you do, when you keep moving forward despite the doubt and fear, you begin to master your mind. Mastering your mind is about recognizing that your thoughts are not facts. They are not the truth. They are just thoughts. And you have the power to change them. You have the power to reframe the way you think about challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. Instead of seeing them as problems, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of letting failure define you, you start to see it as part of the process, something to learn from, something to grow through. You start to become the person who chooses to rise every single time life knocks you down, instead of staying down. That's the power of mastering your mind. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. The more you reinforce this mental discipline, the stronger your mind gets. Eventually, you reach a point where your thoughts no longer have the power to control you. You can think of fear or doubt, but it no longer holds you back. You can experience negative emotions, but they no longer dictate your actions. And in that moment, you become unstoppable. Because when you master your mind, you master your life. You control your destiny. You become the person you were always meant to be. And when you're in charge of your mind, there's no limit to what you can achieve. So are you ready to take control? The battle starts in your mind, and every day you have the opportunity to win. The mind you train today determines the life you live tomorrow. Mind is a powerful thing, and the way you train it today will shape the life you live tomorrow. Every single thought you think is a small seed planted in the fertile ground of your mind. The seeds you plant today will determine the harvest you reap in the future. So if you want a successful, fulfilling life, it all starts with taking control of your thoughts right now. If you're not intentional about what goes into your mind, then you're allowing life to push you around, and you'll be at the mercy of circumstances that you have no control over. But when you begin to take charge, when you begin to direct your thoughts with purpose, you create a life that's aligned with your desires, not random chance. The mind doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's constantly being influenced by your environment, your experiences, and the people around you. Without a strong sense of direction, your thoughts can easily drift off course. You'll find yourself caught up in the whirlwind of everyday distractions, constantly reacting instead of acting with intention. The truth is, most people go through life on autopilot, not even aware of the thoughts they're thinking or the patterns they've developed. But when you start paying attention to your thoughts, when you start consciously choosing what you focus on, everything shifts. You start becoming aware of the narrative running in the background of your mind, and you can begin to edit it. You can begin to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself for years. The beauty of mastering your mind is that you get to decide what kind of person you're going to be. You get to decide what to believe, what to focus on, and what to create. No one else has control over your thoughts unless you give it to them. And the more you take responsibility for your mental landscape, the more empowered you become. You can decide today that you are no longer a passive observer of your life. You're no longer at the mercy of your thoughts or emotions. You're in control. And when you make that shift, You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances to take action. You stop waiting for the right moment because you know that right now, today, is the moment that matters. Every day you have the opportunity to feed your mind with things that move you closer to your goals. It might be books, podcasts, or conversations with people who inspire you, or it might be quiet time spent reflecting, meditating, or journaling. Whatever it is, the key is that you're deliberately feeding your mind with thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that will help you grow. And over time, as you continue to nourish your mind, you will notice a shift. Your thinking becomes sharper, more focused, and more aligned with the life you want to live. It's like a muscle. You need to exercise it every day to get stronger. If you neglect it, if you don't give it the proper care and attention, it begins to weaken. But with consistent effort, you can cultivate a powerful mindset that propels you forward. One of the most critical aspects of training your mind is understanding the connection between your thoughts and your emotions. Your thoughts shape how you feel, and how you feel drives your actions. If you think negatively, you'll feel bad. If you think thoughts of fear, doubt, or inadequacy, you'll feel anxious, stuck, or overwhelmed. But when you consciously choose thoughts of possibility, of belief in yourself, of optimism, your emotions follow suit. You begin to feel empowered, confident, and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Your mind becomes your greatest ally, and every action you take comes from a place of power, not fear. But here's the thing, mastering your mind isn't about being perfect. It's not about eliminating negative thoughts entirely. That's impossible. And frankly, it's unnecessary. What matters is how quickly you can recognize those thoughts and shift them. It's about building the resilience to stay focused and positive, even when the negative thoughts try to creep in. And it's about building a deep trust in yourself and your ability to overcome whatever challenges come your way. When you train your mind to focus on solutions, to focus on progress, to focus on the possibility, you make an incredible shift that will be felt, not just in your thoughts, but in every area of your life. Your mindset determines everything. It determines your happiness, your productivity, your relationships, and your success. If you want to change your results, you need to start with changing your thinking. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't take years to shift your mindset. You can start today. In fact, you can start right now. It's about making the decision to take control. The decision to stop letting life happen to you, and to start making life happen for you. It's about taking responsibility for your mental state, and choosing thoughts that empower you, instead of limit you. And as you do that, as you begin to train your mind to be strong, focused, and purposeful, you will begin to see the changes you've been looking for in your life. When you take control of your thoughts today, you're shaping the life you will live tomorrow. The person you are becoming, the results you're experiencing, all come from the thoughts you're thinking right now. So don't wait. Don't sit around hoping that life will magically align with your desires. You have the power to make it happen. You have the power to direct your thoughts and create the life you want to live. The mind is yours to command, and when you take full control, there is nothing that can stand in your way. Every moment you take charge of your thinking is another step toward the life you truly desire. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. So go ahead, take control, and watch as everything in your life starts to fall into place. Your future self will thank you for it.